can't hear. Okay.
Testing.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in to the DFW Vault, powered by Strictly DFW TV. I'm your host, Shay Tree. We got a special guest in the building, but I can't forget to introduce
Oh,
my host.
hello there, everyone. It's the Conscious Queen.
Well, again, we have Mike Jones in the building.
Yes.
And we definitely appreciate you for coming out and just, coming out and just showing us some love, what I'm saying, during this time of, it's election season and
Right.
everything like that. So we definitely appreciate you taking time out your busy
Most
schedule.
definitely.
You just told me you was out knocking on doors and,
Yes.
putting out signs and all that stuff. So we know you're busy. Just kind of, say hey to everybody and let everybody,
Introduce
introduce yourself.
yourself.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Mike Jones. I'm running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Place 1. They cover the cities of DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Duncanville, Irving, Glen Heights, Duncanville, and a touch of Old Villa in Dallas County.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So that's what I'm running for right now. It is a judge position that I am running for as well. So
Oh, okay, okay. Well, definitely, that's cool. I mean, we
That's
looking
kind of
forward
a
to it.
big
Yeah,
deal.
it really is. I'm like,
Kind
wow,
of a
wow.
big deal.
Man, so I always like to start off the segment by repping your city, where you're from, and everything like
right.
that. So give you an opportunity to rep your city and everything.
Okay. Well, I actually was from Dallas, but I was raised in DeSoto, and I
Okay.
graduated from DeSoto High School, class of 2001. If anybody watching.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Oh, ones.
Young, he young.
yeah. So 2001 again, DeSoto went out to college, came on back, went ahead and got a bachelor's in applied arts sciences from University of North Texas. Obtained a master's in management. I'm sorry, in public administration at Phoenix, and went back and have associates in real estate with Cedar Valley College and associates in criminal justice, which is very important for this, related to this position as well.
Okay.
I do have also a certification in alternative dispute resolution, and so what that pretty much is, I'm able to uh, resolve issues amongst parties. So um, that's
What
it.
was your initial spark of interest? Was it at your college level when you went into criminal justice that kind of guided you into wanting to get into
Well,
politics?
my well, my path is quite different.
Okay.
Um, Actually, I was asked to get into politics, and a lot of people do not know that.
Okay.
Um, while I went to college. I had a great job, working for municipal government, giving back to the community,
Hmm.
working various positions. I was asked by a colleague of mine, and coincidentally, we was both at a real estate firm. And so, because I'm a real estate broker as well, but I actually had a colleague that asked me, hey, why don't we have an open seat? Why don't you run on it? And this actually, which led the way for politics as well. And from there, I went through elections. I ran for city council for the city of Glen Heights, and from there, I became the mayor. I became an elected official. And so from there, I started my journey on and serving the public. And then, for a while I was on council, then I got voted in, and then I became the mayor pro tem. Anybody know what that is? That's pretty much like the deputy mayor.
Okay.
When the mayor ain't there, I'll be
I'm
mayor.
sorry, say that one more time for the people. The mayor of.
Glen Heights.
Okay.
So I was the mayor pro tem for Glen Heights. I served as council, and then after so many years, you have different staggered terms, and then you have individuals that will kind of roll on off, or and it's time
Right.
to elect a new mayor pro tem. So I've served in that capacity.
I'm just
Wow.
curious, how to, what type of experience do you have to have in order to get in your position and the necessary steps that you've taken to get to where you are today?
Well, well, this position as a justice of the peace, you do not have to have any. You don't have to have a JD degree, so you don't have to have a law degree.
Okay.
So it's based on if the people feel you're a good candidate. So
Factoring in community service, your involvement.
right. I mean, yeah. I mean, most anything. I mean, anybody looks at your resume, see what you have going on. I mean, and they'll check you out. They will go ahead and fill you out, interview you, meet you for coffee, and try to figure out what is it that makes you stick out from another opponent or
Hmm.
the other individual that's currently in office or this other person that may have this law degree and things like that.
Okay.
So that's mainly what it is. But I mean, I have a lot of transferable experience. I've served as elected official for the city of Glen Heights,
Right.
which is very important as well because I have a temperament to deal with a lot of issues in public and working with public relations. I've actually organized and actually been on the groundwork and actually doing weekend cleanups under the leadership of various councilmen for the city of Dallas that served back then. Councilwoman Davis, Caraway, and
Oh wow.
Atkins. This is actually when I was actually employed by the city, but we still had to organize these events,
Uh huh.
work with the community, work with the churches, and actually come in and like clean South Dallas. So whenever you see individuals or nonprofit organizations or churches come on in, and we would have literally groups that would go in and we would pick up paper and rubbish and things like that off the streets. You know, we try
Wow.
to help
Really
people.
doing
Right,
the
right,
Yeah,
groundwork.
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I think that's very important for anybody. You actually see it from the ground down
Right.
all the way up.
We
Um,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Let me ask you, like, people, most young people, really don't get involved in, the local, voting, things
Hmm.
like that. How important is it for the community to get involved in, local voting?
It is extremely important. I mean, I know that once the president comes out, we all want to run to the polls when it's time for the president.
Exactly.
But
Right.
to be honest, these local ones are more important
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. Um, Council, you know, serving on council,
Mm-hmm.
these individuals will be the deciding factor into raising or lowering your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm.
these will be the individuals that will decide on what days of the week you would have, of course, your trash pickups. I mean, closing down rec centers, open up
Right.
rec centers,
Mm-hmm.
limiting library hours. I mean, a lot of
All
services
the
that.
structure for the communities, it sounds like you guys enforce or have a
Mhm.
voice in enforcing.
And
It's a
since you're
big
saying,
deal.
yeah, and when you say structure, y'all goes to infrastructure. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that goes to fixing your streets,
Right.
allocating resources, to ensure that your water and all the necessities they're in line that you want to make sure is right. So you got to have people in the right place that have the right mindset and really that have not any internal motives, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty much want to provide
Right.
services and do
For
what
the
they're supposed
people,
to
it
do.
sounds like.
Hmm.
So, now, and I do understand that most young people, ages 18 to even probably 25, they don't
Mm-hmm.
really vote as often or if any, at that age. How could we get people of those ages more involved in voting, locally? What do you think we need to do to get more people involved?
Um, the thing is, catering to, I would say, the millennials is,
Yes.
and I'm talking,
Speak
even
my
though
language, Mike.
I'm a millennial, but we're going to talk
Right.
about it a
Right.
little bit younger.
Right,
And
exactly.
I mean, they have to actually, to get individuals involved, you have to kind of get out to their, I would say, get on not just their level, but get out to things that they relate to.
Yes, absolutely.
One thing I can say is I also used to be a little league coach for football. So, you know, people see me now and they've known me from before, and I go walk up to them like, hey, I'm actually running for the seat and things, and this is the reason why you should probably vote for me, and just so they can kind of see how it affects them. A lot of times it's just like you're just knowledge, you just don't know about it. You can be a
Exactly.
younger individual, let's just say 20, 21, or whatever. However, you have a small claims court from whatever issues you have. If you had knowledge from before, as far as actually knowing what the processes is, who's
Mm-hmm.
in place, you can be prepared as you before you go into these courtrooms, or know the type of individual who you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's very
Doing
vital, very
research.
important. Yeah, and it's
Right.
research because I mean, we don't think about it, and at that age, not gonna lie, I mean, I feel victim to that.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I
just
was gonna say
living
I
life.
was, between the ages of 18 and 24, I definitely wasn't in the mindset of my politicians and people in place to make decisions, for my community and things
Hmm.
like that. But for you being basically the same age or in the millennial, bracket, I feel like that right there makes you relatable and
Exactly, exactly.
would possibly kind of spark that interest in our age range as millennials and below to kind of, oh, so who is this guy? What's going on? And what is he talking about? And what can he do? And how influential is he? I feel like it's so important.
Hmm.
I appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Indeed.
Now, for those that haven't registered, to vote, how can they go out and register to vote?
Actually, you can go to DallasCountyVotes.org, and the actual deadline is February 5th to be able to vote.
Okay.
And that's like literally in 2 days.
So that means that people that
I hear
haven't
that,
registered,
guys.
make sure y'all go out there and get registered to vote.
Couple more
Um,
days.
I know in most cases, when you go to what is it, the DMV, and you can register there too as well. Is that correct?
I'm not sure of the DMV. I know you for sure DallasCountyVotes.org, and I know one thing that I'm also a deputy voter. So what that means, I actually have a card. I can actually register to vote people.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
So a lot of people don't know
wow.
that. And anybody can be there. You just go down to the elections office. And then you can go on down there and say, hey, I want to be able to help register people to vote. You take the training, required necessary training, and then once you
Okay.
complete the training, then you'll leave with a stack of documents needed to be able to register the people to vote. So yeah, I can actually do that.
Okay.
But it's very
Okay.
important, very
Hey,
vital.
definitely, y'all. If you haven't, gone out and registered to vote, make sure you guys go out there and register to vote. Like you said, the deadline is February 5th. That's just right around the corner. So it's very important for you all to go out and vote. Locally. During the local elections and things like that. Go,
And sorry to interrupt you, but it's
go
very
ahead.
important that you have to do for these primaries. And people don't understand kind of what's going on. What's the primaries? What's the primaries? And primary elections is pretty much a nutshell is you have everybody from either party. You may have three people in the Democratic Party,
Okay.
three people in the Republican Party, and through whatever amount of seats. So what they do is right now you're campaigning to be that one person down to the general election. So the
Okay.
primaries is for each party to pick who they're going to pick till they get down in November for the general election, and then that one person after the Republican Party, one person after the Democratic Party will go ahead and have an election have an election then. So it's very important. People don't know that.
Thank you for breaking that down for us.
Okay.
like,
Okay.
um,
All right, so y'all don't go anywhere. We're gonna go to break real
Right.
quick. We're gonna, we'll be right back. Stay tuned in to the DFW Vault, and we'll be right back.
How can you say that I don't love you?
Giving me a lot.
Thought I showed you that. I showed you that.
All of my homies from around my way, yeah, are claiming that I'm selling out. 'Cause I'd rather spend time with you. Hey, they keep saying I don't hang anymore. Alright, yeah. So baby, there should be no doubt that it's you that I adore. Say that I don't love you when I show you every day. I never hold back my feelings. Oh yeah, they're expressed in every way. And I swear you got me under. 'Cause you're always on my mind. I'm always trying to keep you smiling. 'Cause girl, your love is alright. One of a kind. Yeah. Hey, check me out. When I'm with you, it's like I'm walking on air. Floating all around the world and watching everybody stare. There ain't nothing like being in love. Alright, yeah. I'm so glad that you're my girl. And I'll never place no one above you. How can you say that I don't love you when I show you every day? I never hold back my feelings. They're expressed in every way. Is it a spell? Is it a spell, girl? 'Cause you're always, say you're always on my mind. I'm always trying to keep you smiling. 'Cause girl, your love is one of a kind. Alright, sure enough, hey, check me out. Hey, well, say baby, let you down. Alright, you go. And don't you worry about it. Come on, hey baby. Yeah. See, I need you. I need you. Yeah. 'Cause that's the place you wanna be. Yeah. When I our kind.
Hey, we are back from break, man. Thank everybody for tuning in to the DFW Vault, powered by Strictly DFW TV. Once again, we have Mike Jones in the building. You know, election season is coming up.
Mike
You know, you're running
Jones.
for justice for the peace. You know, so that's a big deal. You know,
Yeah, it's a very
Um,
big deal.
and so we definitely appreciate you again for just coming out and spending some time with us and everything. Before we went to break, we were talking about going out and voting and things like that, and how to get registered to vote. So when can we expect? When is the election? So for those that aren't really aware, when is the election?
The election, early voting, matter of fact, starts on February 20th. And that's literally like, what, less than 3 weeks, I believe?
That's right around the corner.
February 20th. And it's going to go on to about March 2nd. And then from there, the actual election day is March 6th. But do not wait until, election day. Because, a lot of the way these precincts and everything is set up, you have to vote in your precinct on that day. You need to go ahead and figure out where your precinct is ahead of time, where before you try to go to that precinct on that day. The reason why I'm saying that is you may wait to that day, things go wrong, traffic, long lines, you've been and spent an hour at this voting location,
Right.
and you get to the counter to go ahead and say, hey, here I go so I can vote. And then they say, well, you're at the wrong voting location.
Wow.
You have to
man.
vote at your precinct, so then you got to travel down the street to go somewhere else and possibly be in line again.
So break it down for those listeners who don't understand or know what a precinct is and why are they sectors of the system or
Yeah, precincts are like, in essence, think of them like you have zip codes in a city.
Okay.
Just think of it like that, and you have all different precincts that are within many
your
zip
zones
codes. Little,
possibly?
yeah, like little zones.
Okay.
And so each of those zones, you have a certain place that you can go vote at, for that. And so it's very important. So that's why we encourage early voting,
Which is February 20th, right?
which starts on February 20th.
Okay.
You can vote anywhere in Dallas County.
Okay.
All right, it's gonna all go back. The number's gonna go to the right place, but just when you have to go to election day, you have to go to your precinct. That's why we encourage early voting. It gets you in 5 minutes in and out. Boom. And then you'd happy put your voter sticker on. You good to go. So,
Everybody wants to take their selfies with their sticker on.
yes,
Right.
yes.
I voted.
But what I do want to ensure is that we want to make sure that we research all our candidates.
Absolutely.
Because there's over 128. There's 128 candidates on the ballot, just on the Democrat for this primary. So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
it could be 3 people per this race, 2 people per that race, or 1 person, and so on. So you want to make sure you know who you're voting for.
Right, because that can be overwhelming in itself, just making a choice. People just tend to see Democrat and just pick Democrat. You know.
You'll pick Democrat. You'll pick that Democratic ticket, but then you got all them
It's
names.
exactly. So
Wow,
what
this
can
is
we expect from you, if you actually are elected? We're going to say you get elected.
I appreciate
What,
We're gonna speak
we're gonna,
things into
we're gonna say you get elected. So what can the community expect from you, during your term?
Well, one thing I know for sure that needs attention to the court itself is just like with any court offices, you have issues.
Right,
You
right.
have issues. That's just how it is doing business. But however, there is an issue of biasness that we need to get out of this current court itself. We want to make sure that respect is given back to this court. And I'm looking to propose certain innovative changes that allow more transparency in the court. And what is that? Glad you guys asked. It is one is an online docket system where you can be able to search a case up online, kind of see what's going on with the case. If you're a landlord, you're able to go ahead and see what's the status of a tenant being served for an eviction. If you're
Right.
or if you have a small claims court that you're filing or being filed on, you can just kind of check and see the status of
Bringing
stuff.
an innovative way.
Right,
of
right.
doing
Yeah, you want to, and
things.
it's
I feel that.
it's transparency. Because if you look at like these other county courts or Dallas County itself, you're able to type stuff in and you can actually see these things. But it doesn't happen at this just at the peace court. So we have to kind of get with the leadership in regards to the budget and see where can we reallocate monies to do that, because I know there's a cost for everything.
Absolutely.
Right, right.
You have to push those limits sometimes when you talk about budgets and things like that to see some results. You
And
got to
you-
bring a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things. So I definitely feel you on that, Mr. Mike Jones.
And I can add, as a track record with that, is while I served for the City of Glen Heights, the Mayor Pro Tem, I led the charge for the police department of the police officers that received body cameras. That was a priority for me. At the time where the nation had, we had issues between law enforcement
Yes.
and things like that. While I was sitting at the criminal justice chair for the NAACP, I'm gonna give that out there as well. But
Bam. I need to get like you.
know.
Look, I have a criminal justice degree too. How can I get involved in in the community? I do a lot of stuff in the community anyhow, but not to that status as far as like NAACP and things like that.
Just sign up.
Yeah.
Just sign up. Look for either or even Google, which can be your best and your worst friend.
Right.
But Google it up, and you can see what groups or advocate groups or whatever. There's a lot of them out here, and then you sign on up and start getting active.
Okay.
And some of them will provide will be a membership, and some of them just sign on up and get on in. But it's real easy, and then attend your meetings, and then that's something that you can kind of stick on. You can have, and you can work with that, and you can build from it. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything I did, I kind of built from it, and then it's kind of led me to where I'm at right now.
Right.
I'm pretty sure building a good rapport as well, moving along the way assists with, hey, look, this is what I want to do. This is the avenue that I want to go in as far as being a positive influence. People gravitate to that.
Right.
Being
Right.
raw and real and bringing a real side and view of things, I feel like is so important now.
Can I add something too?
No, go
Absolutely.
ahead. Go ahead.
You had me bring it out. While I was serving on council, all right, and I was serving on NAACP, this was at the same time. I would go to both meetings, of course, on different times. I was looking for things on how can we work together with the community. All right, what can we do? What type of program, project, or something? And so with that, I had came up with a program. It's called "It Takes a Village to Raise Our Children."
Okay. Okay.
And what it was is a collective program in which we had dialogue amongst individuals from the DA all the way down to your local pastors and individuals in the community working. And I did this about twice. I did one with DeSoto. I partnered up with DeSoto Independent School District. Shout out to them as well, DeSoto ISD. I had judges that sat. I had actual judges that actually sat on the panel itself.
Yeah, I actually heard that you had Andrea Martin on in the part of the program. That kind of sparked that kind of rung out with me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. She's I've actually had an opportunity to meet her, so and I've had a conversation with her and everything, and she kind of motivated me because I know she went to Texas Wesleyan School of Law. I actually graduated from Texas Wesleyan University, so that was big, and then she actually sworn me in my position right now. So
Really?
that kind of inspired me.
Yeah,
So
she sat on it. She sat on it.
yeah, she's a good judge. I think she's
Yeah.
at a 304.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's correct.
Hey.
Yeah, I see.
Pretty
So
sure you already searched.
everything kind of works back in itself.
Yes, indeed.
And and another one that I had actually wanted in the Grand Prairie. Then I had a pastor. He was at DC3 out there in DeSoto.
Okay.
Pastor Marcus. So he wound up sitting on the panel as well. But what I was able to get, since I was able to work with individuals, I was able to get the DA at that point in time. DA Hawkins, even though, it's unfortunate that she had to not, she had to battle, whatever she had to battle as far as the sickness, but she took the time out and listened to my calls, listened to my request, came on down, and actually sat in the evening time and spoke at this meeting itself along with other community individuals. So I take pride in bringing pretty much people together.
Absolutely.
That's good. Now, have you are you guys getting people that's in the community involved in this in the program? As far as people on the outside, I know you have people that's judges
Right.
and
And
churches.
which program?
The Take a Village.
Okay, that program, it has been on pause for a little bit. I've started it. However, we was going through transitions and things like that, and I was working on revamping the program, so it's going to be coming back up here pretty soon. But currently, right now, I'm restructuring it because I'm looking for different ways to make it more efficient and reach more individuals with it. Because we had we had individuals from the community that came on out. I say we had pastors. We had I forgot his name, but it was an organization that helped kids as far as the ones that was in between that would have a lot of trouble in school, not at home, not a boarding facility, but more of a mini boot camp deal.
Okay.
He actually kind of, and I think they're out of
Bringing
Glen
that
Heights.
structure.
Yeah. So, it just we try to cater. I try to cater to all different avenues and angles with it.
Okay.
But you will see that up here after a while as things kind of settle down and we're kind of see where all the moving parts are at. Because I've met a lot more people actually on this campaign. I think that would be good assets that would work with that program as well.
All right. Well, I would definitely love to volunteer. I do a lot of community work throughout, Dallas, and so that's something I would be interested in because I love working with the youth. We do a lot of stuff throughout the state. I think strictly DFW, we actually did an event with the state for like men that are in halfway houses, juveniles that are in halfway houses and things like that. So we put a whole program together. So we love to get involved and stuff like that.
Excellent.
So don't forget about us whenever you get it ready.
Don't
Forget about us because we would love to come out and put together a show and things like that. Motivate young individuals.
Yeah, and like you were saying initially, as a collective, we kind of have to be the voice for each other, and it does take a village. I'm a mother myself. I have an 8-year-old son.
Okay.
It definitely takes a village to make these young
It
people
definitely
come on
does.
upright.
That's right.
Because I think that we've as we've gotten older, I think our generation has changed because
Absolutely.
Yes,
it used to be a village. Now it's just everyone's for themselves. You used to be able to if you lived in one community, everyone in that community looked out for each other.
Right.
Had a
Especially the
part to
kids and
play
things
in the
like that.
raising of
You couldn't do anything down the street because somebody knew about it and was going to tell the parent. But now you can't even really reach out to these kids or even the parents.
The
at this
parents are
point,
too
so.
busy. That's a whole nother convo. But thank you, Mike
That's a whole
Jones,
other one, yeah.
for being a voice.
For those that's listening right now, just tell us, why should they come out to vote for you? Why should they vote for you, Mike Jones?
Why shouldn't they? No, but seriously.
Okay. Yeah, why shouldn't?
If you look at currently what's going on in the courts in itself right now, you're looking at that this is the second term for the current incumbent. I will let you go ahead and research them up. I don't want to give anybody any time. I want them to look it on up. But what has really been done in the courts? As you see all these different judges and all the things going on, these are a lot of different programs that you have around here. I'm tasked to say what is one accomplishment that has been done every year. Let's say for the last 7 years. Have not seen any. And so I have a track record of actually getting things done.
Results.
And I most definitely will keep on pushing to make things happen. Just again, an online docket system, that's one of them. Two is bringing respect to the court itself. It's a lot of different ways and different avenues. And once I go ahead and see the structure, because it's just like anything, you got to get on the job to kind of see what is all going on to see what you can, make right. But I want to work on providing programs so I can kind of give back out, to the community. So it's something and I was working actually on a program where we were going to work to deter truancy, because at one point in time, the truancy court was in here, but legislative changed that, so it took it out. So I was actually looking to some programs and where can I work with the kids and deterring them, and I want to provide some type of but some community service. Not community service where you're just gonna sign on off and keep on going, but what have you learned from this?
Is this to like redirect
redirect
the children themselves
Yes.
from even wanting to skip school?
Yes.
Or, breaking down what truancy is, that means your butt didn't go to school.
Yeah, you just didn't go to school.
You didn't go.
For whatever
Why
reason,
didn't you go?
and it could be various
Getting your
reasons
parents
why.
in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Not from experience, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. There's money involved with that.
It is money.
It really is.
Money and time.
But yeah, we're gonna actually go to break real quick. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay tuned in. We got Mike Jones in the building.
Bringing all kinds of knowledge.
Baby, I called to see when you were coming through. When you were coming to see when you roses and daisies sit by your side with dinner just for you. Dinner just for you. With dinner just for you. I want you all night. Don't worry, you ain't gotta bring your phone. Ain't gotta bring your, no, you ain't gotta. And when the sunrise, we'll do it again before you go home. Before you go home, babe. Before you go home, babe. 'Cause of your love, I can't let you go. You gotta hold on me. I feel it in my soul, Louise. I want some more. I want some more of your love. I can't let you go. You gotta hold on me. I feel it in my soul, Louise. I want some more. I want some more of your love. Baby, don't worry, we ain't got to go too far. No, we ain't got to. 'Cause when it go down, you finish first and I'm gon' finish last. Just for you, finish just for you. And you can try your remedy. Creative spaces freaking on the wall. If you need to stop and catch your breath, I understand. I've been there once before. Ooh, 'cause of your love, I can't let you go. You gotta hold on. I feel it in my soul, Louise. I want some more. I want some more of your love. I can't let you go. You gotta hold on. I feel it in my soul, Louise. I want some more. I want some more of your love. 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 More of your love.
You want to bring it in? You want to bring it? Well, thank y'all for tuning in to the DFW Vault. We are now back from break. Again, we got Mike Jones in the building. You know, it's the season. You know, it's Black History season too. It's Black History Month. You know, it's election
Yes.
month and everything like that.
Black History Year.
Year. Let's do a year round.
right,
Every
right.
year.
Every
All day,
year.
every day.
Again, we are here to kind of just raise awareness about, you know, the importance of how, you know, how important it is to go out and vote for these local
indeed.
elections and things like that. Once again, just Mike Jones, let everybody know, you know, where they can actually go out to vote. Also let them know where they can register and when the deadline is.
Well, it's gonna be based off your precinct, where you stay at, and the best way to do it is go to DallasCountyVotes.org. It can input your address in there. It can tell you what precinct you is in, and it can tell you who all you can vote for. It also tell you pretty much anything about it: the voting times, the voting locations. It will tell you, I mean, when the last day to vote, to give you a voting calendar for the year. It tells you everything. So DallasCountyVotes.org. But literally, don't wait till tomorrow. Go ahead and go today. and or if you want to do it tomorrow, do it before the Super Bowl. You know,
Uh-oh.
do
Right.
it.
Before the
But
Super
do
Bowl
it.
party starts.
Yeah, because
I forget about that.
yeah. So
What's
yeah.
that?
So another thing is, I noticed that this is going to be. Actually, I wanted to know how long is the term, in office as far as being the justice for the peace.
Actually, yes. Thank you. It's a 4-year term. It's a 4-year
Okay.
term. So let's just say if I was to get elected, let's just say if I was to win the election now, the primary election, I would be unopposed for the general election, which is the one between me and the Republican Party, and then actually I would start the seat in January 1st.
Okay.
In January.
And for I understand, this is going to be your last term.
This would be my first term if I
Okay.
was to do it.
Well,
This
I'm
would-
talking about when you, because I was reading, I was doing a little bit of research, and it said this might be your last term. You might be retiring or something like that. And,
Yeah, see
and I was
there,
like,
see, Mike?
I was
You
like,
said not to dig, but we done dug.
I research and things like that. I like to know who I'm
Oh,
going to be interviewing.
oh,
and things.
retire.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, that's my opponent's. This is his
Oh, okay,
retirement
okay,
return.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
get some clarification on
yeah.
that.
Yeah, my opponent is actually retired, which is great. Anybody that you put your time in, don't get me wrong, is great. But however, we want to see what's those intentions, because if you're retiring, we want to make sure that we're in the best interest, and you're providing a level of service a little bit more than just doing business as usual for the last 7 years.
Oh,
But you
okay.
didn't hear
Speaking
that
in
from
terms
me.
of,
Yeah.
innovative things
Right.
that we're
We
bringing.
wanted- yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running.
Out with the old, in with the new.
I'm running to create change and
Indeed.
actually improve transparencies and processes. I'm not running just to hold the seat for the next 4 years.
Right.
If you kind of, I'll let you go back in it. I'm just saying. I digress.
Please.
No, I was interested. I
Heck
want to know
yeah.
what you had to say.
So
actually.
one thing I do want to highlight, and I've said it before, is when I actually started running for this election, I really got approached and emailed, and just talked to about a lot of individuals who was not happy with the current leadership at this court.
Wow.
I literally had, I am with the people. I sat down, had call for this individual. I met with him. So it ain't just a dude that just email and all right, I thank you for your vote. I'm sorry to hear that.
Right.
I actually met with her, and she really suffered emotional distress and financial distress because she was wrongfully evicted through this court. Yeah, it's where I've seen documents, I've seen everything. So,
Wow.
she was not treated with the level of respect that was needed from the current judge itself, and was told shut up and several different things.
Oh,
It
wow.
was disrespect. So, and really, she's still suffering from it. But what I want to say is that anytime that you wrongfully evict somebody, guess what? Do you have somewhere to stay at that moment? Maybe or maybe not, but then you're considered to be homeless.
Right.
Don't you know that Dallas kind of has a big homeless population right now?
Yes,
So
Absolutely.
do we want
really
to
do.
have an individual that wants to add to the homeless population? I don't think
Right,
so.
because it's really difficult once you get evicted. I know that they do have the second chance leases and things like that, but a lot of those second chance leasing apartments are. I'm not gonna say they're all in a bad condition, but they're
No, but for the
usually
most
not.
part, they
They're
are
usually not in the
someone's
best condition.
first
So now,
choice.
yeah,
Not
exactly,
favorable.
exactly,
Absolutely not. So that's a lot to consider. When you're talking about the livelihood of a person,
right.
you're actually concerned. Thanks again, Mr. Mike Jones.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's not even just that. I have other county workers
Right.
that have approached me that's not happy with what's going on. People that actually work closely with my current incumbent. But again, it's not hearsay. This is factual information.
Right.
This is not a deal, and I don't want to say name because I want to protect these individuals. But I want to keep
Exactly.
it realistic. I'm down to earth. I want to see what I can do to help. I don't want to hinder.
Right. I feel like that's what the millennial mindset, going back to that once again, because I love that term, not just because I'm under the umbrella of being a millennial, but it's a whole mindset of being a real person and getting back to being a real person and saying, okay, I actually genuinely care about the livelihood of the people. This is what we need, guys.
We
And
definitely
not just,
do.
in your, sector or precinct specifically, but this just overall shows how important it is for every individual that's of age to go out and get these people in place where they can do, the right people in place where they can do this job efficiently.
Right.
and get us some different results up in
Exactly.
here. We're doing insane things, doing the same things over and over,
Getting the same
expecting
results.
different results.
Getting the
So,
same results.
And let me add to that.
Yes.
And when you talk about a lot of these individuals that you have to let, of course, you want to make sure you research them up and things like that.
Right.
Like in Google, you can Google
You can Google up
my
everything.
race. You most definitely can.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of these positions that you get on up to a state level, they affect Congress and they affect all this stuff. So when
Right.
we talk about how the Democrats don't have the votes down in Austin or down in D.C. or whatever the case may
It
be,
starts here, doesn't it?
it starts here.
Absolutely.
So you have to vote. Sometimes you're in an area where the vote you may feel like it don't matter at that point,
I
but
did forever. I'm
I
not
did.
gonna lie. I
Yeah.
did forever. I was one of those, anti this and our votes don't count.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. It starts from
Yeah.
a certain level and then
Yeah.
goes up the totem.
I mean, just like anything, you got to build your way up to it.
Absolutely.
You know, it may not work this year, but guess what? They see how the demographics is changing, the
Yes.
population is changing, and all the things are changing. And so it'll go from not being, it'll go like this, step up a ladder. Next thing you know, you're right here, as opposed to being down here. And we made a change in that area or that
Okay.
race.
This is
That's-
real,
that's-
y'all. This
that's-
is real talk.
It really
Just
is.
keep it real, man.
Keep
it
it real.
1,000.
Okay. Now let's talk about like the whole campaign process. Like
Yeah.
when you're going out to campaign and you're pretty much, are you using your own fundings in regards to the actual signs and the shirts and the
Yeah, 'cause
websites?
you do a
and-
lot of. We've been seeing you. You've been out door to door, like doing a lot of the groundwork yourself.
Well, to answer that one, yes, a lot of would be a mixture of private funds, donated funds. It's just a mixture of that. So, of course, all the stuff is readily available at your request. But we do put into your own campaign, and sometimes if you feel like it's not going how you want it to do, you may contribute a little bit more. You know, but yeah, I mean, we have things that we have various things, and if you do want to most definitely donate, go to MikeJonesForJP.com. But literally, I mean, we have signs. You know, the little yard signs. You got the big signs. We got flyers. We got websites. I mean, it's like a job, and it costs money.
Yeah,
and let's try to
Got
take
my
off.
flyer right here.
Yeah, this is one he brought us. I don't know if y'all can see this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's it right there.
Part of the
so it's-
visual.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, most definitely, any donations, I mean, that helps out with a campaign. If it's $5, $10, whatever you can bless it with, that's all that matters. I mean, we just gotta do what we gotta do sometimes, and we can't do it all on our own.
Indeed.
But I'm an active individual. I go out and I knock on doors. My family's very supportive as well. They go out and knock on doors as well. Matter of fact, my kids were with me earlier, so we just make sure
Okay.
we knock on doors and really talk to people. I mean, because that's more genuine than
Right.
receiving a card. in the
right.
mail.
Right.
Because you got to be able to connect with the people that's
Right.
actually, that you're trying to, that you want to vote, for you, you know what I mean? And, so you have to, you got to get out there. You got to get out there in those trenches.
He's a
and-
millennial. You know what he's doing.
I
Being
mean,
real, raw, in your face.
shout out to all those sports organizations, was it DFW Sports and all those leagues, things like
No
that.
doubt.
We want to make sure we reach out to them because think about it. With all these leagues, you have parents.
Yes.
All right, your parents
Right.
may have an issue they may have to come across this court. You may have the youth organization; they may have an issue amongst the league and other leagues. So you want to make sure you have somebody that's going to fairly listen to
Be
you,
fair.
and,
Yes,
and not be
indeed.
biased to it.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
So, but
Okay.
yeah.
Real deal.
Wow. Well, that's pretty deep. Well, again, we definitely, appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely. It's been
to-
very
to-
informative
It
for
really,
me.
it really
Yeah.
is. It really
Very
is.
informative.
Because a lot of people don't really know, or are unaware of, what the process is to go out and vote. When to go out and vote and things like that. And so that's the whole thing. What we wanted to do is just kind of raise awareness on when to vote and how to go vote and when the election is. Because honestly, sad to say, I really didn't even know. I
Right.
hate to say it because it's kind of embarrassing. I should be embarrassed to say that I didn't even know because I didn't pay attention. And then because we failed to pay attention, now we have all these issues that come about. But considering we failed to vote, now we're in this
Absolutely.
situation.
Absolutely.
So, I think that you're going to bring a lot of change, throughout, the community of Dallas County and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of these changes and things like that. So,
And not just for Precinct 4, Place 1, or that specific zone, but just, for everyone, for all these young folks listening to this radio, TV broadcast right now. Y'all heard what this man said. You got to vote, man. Get these right people in place so that they can be the change and make these decisions from a sound mind.
right.
And not from a robotic mind.
Right.
I mean,
I'm going to be your judge. No, we need real people with real hearts, with real souls.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much, Mike Jones. This has been a treat for me. And like I said, extremely informative. Thank you for breaking things down to my layman's terms so that I could understand, what this is all about. Thank you very much.
That's that professor in me,
Right.
Okay, then.
Somebody know I'm a college professor, so I can understand things from a holistic standpoint. I can break it down, just so everybody can understand
The
it.
beauty of versatility.
Hey, break it down for the dummies.
hey, I said layman's. I didn't say dummies.
I'm talking about me. Look, I got a little bit of fun now,
That's real, man.
But once again, thank you. Is there any shout outs or anything like that you want to give, homage to? And
Kick your shout out.
Man, no, I usually don't, but I want to, again, I want to thank all my supporters. Of course, first and foremost, thank God. Without the getting up every day and really having to kind of get going sometimes gets hard sometimes because literally you're campaigning every day. I mean, you're campaigning literally when you get up out the bed, when you go down the street to Walmart to pick up some food or something like that, when you're picking the kids up from school, when you come back home.
Right.
So it's while you're at work, while you're doing, not while you're at work, but while you in between your work and things like that. So you got a lot of different things that you have to kind of stay going. But appreciate my family, my wife, my kids, my campaign supporters, the one that's actually came out there and really knocked on doors with me and stuff like that. I appreciate them. I mean, that means a lot. People who've actually have contributed. And I mean, just shout out to any of the colleagues that I work with, and anybody else that's on the campaign trail that I know that's working and doing their thing. So I most definitely appreciate them. And that's really kind of about it for now.
Man, I don't see how you don't get tired.
Yeah, I do. I get tired.
You don't look it.
Right.
You wear it
Red
well.
Bull or
No, I don't
like
do Red
coffee?
Bull. No, I'll just
Natural.
It's just the motivation.
Yeah.
Just the motivation to just go out
That's
there
the
and really
drive.
just get out there and make a difference, within your community, within your, people. So
I take cat naps too. That's 5-10 minutes. Y'all know about them.
the power
Yeah.
Yeah,
naps.
them power nap. And you good for about 5
I
hours.
don't know about them because I can't take naps. But that's, yeah.
Yeah, I tell them I'm asleep. I love to take naps. I love it.
I would love to, but
Oh.
Well, once again, thank everybody for tuning in to the DFW Vault, powered by Strictly DFW Radio, DFW TV. We didn't change it up. We changed it from
Bear with us as we
radio to the
transition.
TV. We transitioning in. Again, thank you for coming out, Mike Jones. And
Thank you.
my
Y'all
my
vote.
co-host. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all go out and vote. Again, the early voting starts on February 20th.
That's right.
And that
Get
you
in
can
there
you can vote. At that point, you can vote anywhere in Dallas County.
And early vote ends March 2nd, but you're gonna vote February 20th, so we ain't gonna worry about that. And actual election day is March 6th. So I'm first in my ballot. You'll see me in my comments. I'm the first one on the ballot, and then we're probably bound towards the bottom. So don't get mad when you have to go click through all these things, all these pages of things. But I'm there. Just look for Mike Jones. I'm there. I promise you.
Who?
All right. Well, once again, thank y'all for tuning in to the DFW Vault, and we are out.
Right now.
You seen they fell in love as the band played. Yeah. I guess they fell in love as they played the song. The jazz band was grooving all night long. It's got 'em going crazy, got 'em going to say la da 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 day. I guess they fell in love as they played I don't wanna say. La da 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 da. She had a light brown complexion and some beautiful eyes, nice kissable lips and some lovely thighs. She was dressed to a T, I mean, damn, she looked nice. That's why she called his side. He asked a simple question, do you have a man? She barely took a glance and then she took his hand. She lightly said no, then said, baby, let's dance. And so began that romance. I guess they fell in love. I guess they fell in love. The jazz was grooving all night long. It's got 'em going crazy, got 'em going crazy. La da 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 da. I guess they fell in love as they played the song. The jazz band was grooving all night long. It's got 'em going crazy, got 'em wanna say. La da 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 da. As they began to dance, he asked her for her name. She lightly said Shay and asked him the same. He said, my name is Jay. Who you doing your thing? What brings you around tonight? Well, I was at the crib all alone, thinking to myself, what's going on? Went out to the streets and then I heard this song, just calling me inside. I guess they fell in love as they played the song. The jazz band was grooving all night long. It's got 'em going crazy, it's got 'em going crazy. La da 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 da. I guess they fell in love as they played. I guess they fell in love. The jazz band was grooving all night long. It's got 'em going crazy, got 'em going crazy, got 'em going crazy. La da 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 da. Make you say la 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 da 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 da. Oh, yeah, yeah. Make you say la la la. Oh, la 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 la. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the jazz band place, they fell